Think about the last party you went to. Music playing, people dancing, food everywhere, drinks flowing, strangers becoming friends, inhibitions disappearing. Everyone together in one place for no reason other than to celebrate being alive. Now ask yourself, when did this start? When did the first human look at their tribe and say, "Tonight we are not hunting. Tonight we are not gathering. Tonight we do nothing useful. Tonight we celebrate"? The answer is at least 12,000 years old. And the reason humans invented parties is not what you think. It was not about fun. It was about survival. Let me explain. 12,000 years ago in a cave in northern Israel called Hilasan Taktit, archaeologists found something extraordinary. The remains of a massive feast, not a regular meal, a feast. Dozens of wild cattle butchered and cooked at once. 70 tortoise shells emptied for their meat. Enough food to feed an entire community in a single event. This was not a Tuesday dinner. This was a party, the oldest confirmed party in human history, and it was thrown for a funeral. Someone important died, probably a shaman or tribal elder, and instead of simply burying them and moving on, the community gathered everyone together. They killed more animals than they needed for a week. They prepared more food than anyone could eat alone, and they shared it, all of it, together, in one massive communal event. But why? Why waste that much food on a single night when every calorie normally mattered for survival? Because the feast was not about eating. It was about bonding. It was about saying, we are one group. We share resources. We grieve together. We celebrate together. We are connected. This is the purpose of every party ever thrown. From that cave 12,000 years ago to the wedding you attended last month, the food and drink are not the point. The togetherness is the point. But let us go back even further, because humans were gathering for communal events long before this feast. The urge to party is much older than 12,000 years. Dance is one of the oldest human behaviors. Cave paintings from 10,000 years ago show groups of people dancing together. Rhythmic movement in unison, bodies moving to a beat. But the behavior itself is certainly much older than the paintings. Some researchers believe communal dancing goes back hundreds of thousands of years, can possibly the very origins of modern human behavior. Why? Because dance does something extraordinary to the human brain. When you move in rhythm with other people, your brain releases endorphins, the same chemicals that reduce pain and create pleasure. But here is the key. The endorphin release is significantly stronger when you dance in a group than when you dance alone. Your brain literally rewards you more for synchronized group movement than for solo movement. Evolution selected for this. Groups that danced together felt more bonded, more connected, more willing to cooperate, and groups that cooperated better survived better. So dance was not entertainment, it was social technology. The same way fire was survival technology, and language was communication technology, dance was bonding technology. A biological mechanism for making 40 territorial primates feel like one unified tribe. And then there was music. The oldest known musical instrument is a bone flute found in a cave in Germany. It is over 40,000 years old, carved from the wing bone of a vulture with precisely placed finger holes that produce a pentatonic scale. This was not a toy. This was a sophisticated instrument made by someone who understood sound. 40,000 years of music. That means for at least 40,000 years, humans have been making organized sound together. Rhythm, melody, harmony, not for any practical purpose. Not to hunt better or find food or avoid predators, just to create something beautiful together and feel it resonate in their bodies simultaneously. Music plus dance plus food plus drink. That is a party, and we have been doing it for tens of thousands of years. Now here is where it gets fascinating. Parties were not optional luxuries, they were survival necessities. Think about what happens when a group of humans lives together for months without celebration. The daily grind wears on people. Small conflicts build up. Resentments form. Hierarchies become rigid. Tensions simmer. Without some kind of release valve, groups fracture. People fight. The group splits, and both halves become weaker. Parties prevented this. When the tribe gathered for a feast, all the normal rules softened. The chief danced alongside the lowest member. Everyone ate from the same food. Conflicts were temporarily forgotten. Laughter released tension that had been building for weeks. Every anthropologist who has studied surviving hunter-gatherer societies reports the same thing. Communal celebrations happen regularly, usually every few weeks, and they serve a critical function. They reset the social bonds. They remind everyone that they are part of something larger than their daily frustrations. Tribes that partied together stayed together. Tribes that did not party fractured and died. 11,000 years ago, in the Zagros Mountains of what is now Iran, people held an enormous feast where guests brought wild boars from across the entire region. 19 wild boar skulls were found packed into a pit. The meat from these animals could have fed 300 to 1,200 people. This was not a small family dinner. This was a festival. People traveled from far away specifically to attend. They brought gifts of food. They gathered in purpose-built round buildings designed for communal celebration. They ate together. They danced together. They bonded across tribal boundaries. This is how alliances were formed. Not through treaties or contracts or written agreements. Through parties. You invite another tribe to your feast. You feed them. You dance with them. You share your fermented drinks with them. And suddenly they are not enemies. They are guests. And guests do not attack their hosts. Feasting was ancient diplomacy. And then there was Gobekli Tepe, one of the most mysterious archaeological sites on Earth. Built 12,000 years ago in what is now Turkey. Massive stone pillars arranged in circles, carved with intricate animal reliefs. Built before permanent settlements, before agriculture, before pottery. For decades, archaeologists could not figure out why hunter-gatherers built something this enormous and complex. It required hundreds of people working together. People who did not live together permanently. People who came from different groups across the region. The current leading theory? Gobekli Tepe was built for parties, specifically for massive ritual gatherings where many different groups came together to feast, dance, perform rituals, and bond. The site shows massive evidence of feasting, animal bones from hundreds of butchered animals, brewing vessels suggesting large-scale beer production. People did not build Gobekli Tepe and then throw parties there. They threw parties there and then built Gobekli Tepe to make the parties better. The celebration came first. The architecture came second. This means parties might have literally created architecture. The first large-scale building projects in human history were not houses, not walls, not fortifications. They were party venues. Civilization did not create parties. Parties created civilization. Think about what is required to throw a massive feast for hundreds of people. You need source of food, which means you need to produce more than you eat daily, which means you need agriculture. You need to store food, which means you need containers. You need to coordinate schedules, which means you need communication systems. You need to transport food and people, which means you need roads and paths. Some researchers now believe that the desire to throw bigger and better celebrations was one of the driving forces behind the agricultural revolution. People did not settle down and farm just to eat bread. They settled down and farmed to have enough grain to brew beer for the next festival. Beer before bread, parties before cities, celebration before civilization. Today we still do exactly what our ancestors did 12,000 years ago. We gather, We eat more than we need. We drink. We dance. We play music. We temporarily forget our problems. We bond with people we might otherwise never connect with. Every wedding, every birthday, every New Year's celebration, every music festival, every house party, every barbecue with friends. You are reenacting a behavior that is older than agriculture, older than cities, older than writing. The next time you are at a party and someone asks why humans do this, why we waste food and time and money on celebration, the answer is because the groups that celebrated together survived, and the groups that did not disappeared. Partying is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity written into your DNA by 12,000 years of natural selection. Your ancestors partied to stay alive. And somewhere deep in your brain, the same ancient program is still running. Dance, eat, drink, bond. Survive. If you found this interesting, subscribe. I tell stories like this every week. Next time, we are exploring something fascinating. When did ancient humans start kissing? I will see you there.